My next guest is the author of the best-selling dating guide, Get the Guy. And since then, relationship expert Matthew Hussey has gained millions of fans, including A-listers such as Drew Barrymore and Rebel Wilson. This is all because of the very honest advice that he shares online.
Whether you're 65 and you're thinking, I just want to find someone to share my life with, real confidence isn't the ability to say no to things you don't want. Real confidence is the ability to say no to things you do want when they're not right for you. Do we have a great time? Do we have the same values? And do we want the same things? You are able to say, no, thank you, I'm good, because you have so many other things in your life. Remember, you set the pace of your dating life.
Brilliant, isn't it? Matthew Hussey joins me now with his new book, which is called Love Life. Good morning.
Hello, Ranvir.
It's great to see you. I mean, it's remarkable, your story, to be who you are today, isn't it? You started all this when you were, what, 19 or something?
17 years ago.
17 years?
A long time.
What could you possibly have known at 19? That...
Not nearly enough to be talking about it as much as I did.
But that's the joy of YouTube, right? That, like, you sort of just... What was it that started... Can you remember doing the first ever video and what made you do it, or...?
Well, I know what made me do it. I was, even as a teenager, I was interested in developing myself. And I was both shy and introverted as a kid. So the idea that I could learn some things that would get me out of myself, out of my shell, and make me a little braver was... That was...
With romance?
Yeah, it wasn't women at the time, it was girls.
Yeah.
And, you know, even at school, I was always too shy to talk to the person I really liked. So learning these things for me was a personal mission first.
Yeah.
And then when I started learning how to create opportunities for myself, I did that for other people. Of course, it wouldn't be for years that I would realise how deep the things were that were holding most of us back in our love life. And that's what I talk more about today. But at 19, I was essentially telling people how to go out there and create more opportunities in love.
And you were talking to, essentially, women from a male perspective, which is why I think it caught everyone's imagination, because it was almost like hidden secrets that we might all of a sudden find out what on earth is going on in that, you know, the man's mind, you know.
Yeah, and I grew to hate that.
Did you?
Yeah, because, you know, I even got asked by someone on TV in New York just a few weeks ago, you know, why, you know, you're a man, so does that mean we should listen to you? And I went, it seems like the worst reason on earth to listen to me is because I'm a guy telling you about men. I've been doing this for 17 years. I've coached men and women by the hundreds of thousands. At this point, I just know people.
And there's a phrase in your book which I thought was really good because, I mean, there's a lot of it that's excellent, but there was a phrase in it which I thought was just crystallised, I think, what you try to say at the heart of everything, which is being in love and being ready for a relationship are not the same thing. And I thought, just listen to what that means, because, like, you can be in love and then you chase it, but if the relationship is different to just being in love, right? And I think that that's what you try to... In the whole book, you're trying to say... separate out a little bit all your feelings from the practicality of whether this is actually good for you.
Yeah, my wife Audrey always says we get rewarded for chasing the right things and it always goes wrong when we chase the wrong things. And the wrong things, a lot of the time, we're chasing charisma, we're chasing sex appeal, we're chasing how charismatic someone is with our friends or family or what they do for a living. And we're not thinking about whether this person's actually a good teammate. You know, are they someone I can rely on? Are they consistent? Do they really see me? Unfortunately, you know, someone doesn't text us back for 3 days, and for a lot of people, that makes them more interesting, not less. We start going, oh, there's something about this person, there's something about the way they make me feel. And what I always say to people is when you have a great date with someone, all you're seeing is their impact. You're not seeing their character. Character is consistent, and it takes time to measure consistency. It takes time to see character. So however strongly you think you feel about someone after a couple of dates, remember, you have no idea who they are. It's
brilliant. Right, I've got to put some questions to you, because I know that to do this, for example, for Emma, this would cost her thousands of pounds, but we're going to do it for free this morning. You're a very expensive man to have one-to-ones with. Right, Emma, she says, my fiancé, oh no, recently left me. And I'm struggling to come to terms with it. She was my soulmate. What can I do to recover from heartbreak?
Well, I would say the story we tell ourselves about who that person was for us will determine how long we go through that heartbreak for.
Yeah.
There's the acute heartbreak that we all go through when we lose someone important to us. And that's just the grieving of the life we had and the future we thought we'd have. But chronic heartbreak comes from telling ourselves a story that was my person. They were my soulmate. They were the one.
Soulmate, yeah.
You can be disappointed that they weren't the one, but don't grieve as if they were the one, because anyone who doesn't choose you cannot be the one for you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Brilliant. I really love the way you explain that. Someone who hasn't given us their name says, I came out of a 30-year marriage at the beginning of the year. Not sure about online dating, but it seems like it's the only way to meet new people. Like, what is the safest and easiest way, in your view, to use dating apps? Because I suppose that is really the only way these days.
I mean, I think it's not the only way. I met my wife, Audrey, at an engagement party, with one of our friends' engagement parties. So I don't think it is the only way, but that doesn't mean it's not a useful tool for some people. You have to remember, you set the pace. You can decide to go on an app, talk to someone. If someone starts being inappropriate, you can exit that conversation. If someone is trying to move things too quickly, you can slow them down. If someone is moving things too slowly and you find yourself 6 weeks later still messaging this person and you still haven't even been on a date with them yet, you can say to them, hey, we should grab a coffee sometime. And if they don't respond to that, you move on because you realise they're not being intentional about their love life and you are. Remember, you set the culture. You decide. There's a great quote that is, if you don't like the culture, don't buy it. Create your own. We have to be brave enough to create the culture we want to have. People say, oh, people never call people these days. Then pick up the phone.
And do it.
Do it. Give someone permission. You be the culture that you want to see.
Amanda says, I've just turned 52. I've now been single for about 13 years. I've lost all my confidence. I'm really not into internet dating. I'd like to meet someone in Tesco's or anywhere else. What advice have you got for someone who actually obviously wants to fall in love with somebody and have that moment for herself?
Well, Tesco's is fine.
Yeah.
But I would say meet people. What she really wants is to meet people out there in the world. And meeting someone in a grocery store is fine, but it's like not easy to just go out of your way to meet someone in the milk aisle.
Yeah.
You know? But if you're joining communities, like if you join a running club, don't run on your own with your earphones in because you're never going to meet anyone that way. But if you join a running club and there's 50 people in that running club, you're going to see them every week. And even if none of those people are the love of your life, guess what? They're going to become new friends, and those new friends are going to invite you to barbecues this summer.
Yeah.
They're going to invite you to events. They're going to invite you to engagement parties. And when you say yes to those things, now you're in entire new pools of people that you're not meeting among your married friends or in your place of work. That's the key, getting new communities.
Getting a new community. OK, this one. Chloe says, how do you know when to keep fighting for a relationship or give up? I love my partner, but we're arguing a lot. I don't know what to do. How do you know when to keep fighting? We
tend to fight in the same ways all the time with people. Everyone knows this. Whether it's with your brother, your sister, your partner, your parent, there's a well-worn groove of how you fight.
Yeah.
And we have to break that pattern, bring a new energy, and communicate, look, I'm trying to bring a new energy to our relationship because I realise when we fight, I don't always bring my best energy. And I want to see if we can really improve this. But what you need for a relationship to improve is a willing teammate, someone who's got a growth mindset like you. If you're the only one trying to improve it and they're not, that's when you know the writing is really on the wall. If you've got a willing partner in that change, that can make the difference.
And it's brilliant. I mean, your whole book sets out so many details about what it is if somebody's avoiding, the kind of situations, all of those things. I think it's actually brilliant. I started reading it
You sound surprised.
Well, do you know what? I started reading it thinking, well, is it going to be anything new? And then I found myself being more and more engrossed. I think it's just the way you put things is very deliberate and very calm and very detailed, which I think is really interesting. Thank you so much. It's really, I think I love it, yeah.
And for anyone who wants to get it, it's at lovelifebook.com.
Yes. Lovely. And Drew Barrymore says it's her favourite book, so it's good.